Yeah, thanks, Jason. I just want to first off echo exactly
Recording in progress.
what you're saying. That to our fellow veterans, to our Gold Star families, to the Afghan families who are so worried, sick right now about their relatives, 9/11 victims, everyone who sacrificed so much in Afghanistan in the last 20 years for freedom and for democracy. Your sacrifices were not in vain. Many of us are struggling with what's going on, and that is understandable. But you are not alone. And if you are going to a very dark place, please reach out and get help and speak to someone. This is devastating, as we've said. It's devastating from a human rights perspective. It's devastating for American credibility. Our adversaries and other allies around the world are watching, and I think scratching their head, if not terrified, about American resolve. And it's devastating, I think, for future American security as we head into the 20th anniversary of 9/11, with the Taliban flag flying over Kabul, soon to be joined by Al Qaeda 3.0, which I fear will be far worse. But here nor there, Representative Crow is right. We will have those debates, and I pray we have some accountability for this calamity. Today, now, I hope to see a number of things. Number one, the State Department cannot be in the position of giving people a death sentence over typos and the wrong forms. That the very documentation that people need to prove that they stood with us is documentation that will get them killed if found in their home or found with it at a Taliban checkpoint. I've personally had that happen to one of my own interpreters who was not just executed. He was taken back to his home and beheaded in front of his family and alongside his brothers and cousins. That's the brutality that we're dealing with and what's at stake. I'm sure all of us who have been so engaged are overwhelmed with pleas and requests from terrified Afghans who stood with us bravely and publicly and have now been left behind. And I know we're all doing whatever we can to help them. But the State Department must continue to streamline this process. The Defense Department, I'm calling on the president to authorize them to create safe zones and communicate those zones very quickly, and to give the military on the ground the authority that if people cannot get to those safe zones, to go get them. We should have never pulled our military assets out. Representative Crow and I, in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion, have been saying for months now that when the last American boot went wheels up, that we were handing these people a death sentence. The boots are now back, and I hope we can correct those errors. And then finally, I think we need a very clear message to the Taliban and any country that would seek to recognize this brutal regime that took Afghanistan by force, not by negotiation and not through diplomacy and not by agreement, that their brutality will not be tolerated. Their marriage with Al Qaeda that seeks to attack the West again will not be tolerated. And it's just phenomenally frustrating. But I want to thank you, Jason, for continuing the stand. And I, for one, am certainly willing to do whatever it takes to get those out that helped us. We need a clear policy, finally, for how long this air bridge will be open, how many will get out. And then the final piece is the P1, P2 program. I certainly welcome it, but some of the requirements to get to third countries are just not realistic. There are a number of steps we can make to be far more helpful, in line with what we did for the South Vietnamese and for other allies. Get them out now. We have a moral and national security obligation. Thanks so much.
Thank you.